Hey everyone, I am back. Number 3, hi, how are you doing? I wish I could say I was back on better. That's a screw. Moving into a new place and I have screws, nuts, and bolts all over the place because this place is not done. It is not completely done, and I still have another place to put together. At this point in time, I am your stereotypical lesbian. This place, not done. I thought I brought it completely done. I was wrong. It was furnished, as in it had all its walls, it had all its electricity done, except it wasn't connected to the power. Had to do the power, still have to build stairs, still have to do all this stuff. My brothers, on the other hand, I have to insulate it, I have to build walls, I have to put down flooring, I have to do ceilings, which I am about to do once I finish this video. But I just finished class and I thought I would hop on and record this video before I go get me some coffee, try to start becoming human, and then go and finish my or start to finish my brother's wing of the compound that we're living on. And this video that I'm working on right now is because I got into a conversation with a person. I don't know their pronouns. I got into a conversation with a person on Twitter of a character. Yes, a character. But I am going to pretend that this character is an actual person, because I have grown to see this character as a person, and I like to I just love my characters. I love my characters, and it saddens me that we have such a great show like this, and the people that created this, well, not the people that created the show, because Emily Andreas, she created the show, and it is a kick-ass show, and she's doing great with it, and the actors and actresses are doing great with it, and the crew are doing great with it. But the companies, they can't seem to keep their shit together. They can't seem to learn how to market and learn how to they don't know how to keep their shit together, and they don't know how to market shit to put it out there to keep it going. So we're losing our beloved Wynonna Earp for the second time. And I think this might be for good, which is, it's very sad, because this is, like I said, this is a great show. This is a very good show, and there's a car out there. This is a great show, and I firmly believe the company that I firmly believe the company is getting rid of it, because it has a very strong and loving gay couple, and it has a very strong female lead who accepts this gay couple. And it is sad that you have these powerhouse companies that just can't accept the fact that gay people exist, and you're not going to get rid of us. You're not going to get rid of us. You're not going to make a gay couple and make one of them bisexual and then just decide, well, okay, I'm tired of this gay couple, and then just take the bisexual one and make them straight, because bi people exist, and just because they're bisexual, they can have loving, caring, straight relationships, and they can have equally loving and caring gay relationships. And I am so sick and tired of that trope of, in the media or in movies or television, whenever, or even in Hollywood, even in Hollywood today, they use oh and by to get the homosexual community to come running over to them, and then whoop, straight relationship, and then you never ever 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 see them in a relationship with a woman or with a man. It I'm really sick and tired of that. I'm really sick and tired of the media, like I said, the media using that as an excuse to get the homosexual community to come running to the movie theaters or to the television shows, and then they suck them in to this, they suck them in, and then the character is no longer bi. They just have the bi label, but they're in a heterosexual relationship. They only have the bi label for the show or for the company to to get homosexual money, and I am sick of that. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I mean, it is because we're losing our show, because I honestly feel like that is one of the main reasons why we're losing our show. The first main reason being, I feel like the big main companies don't know how to market. They don't know how to, to market such a good show like Wynonna Earp. They don't know how to take care of such good shows like this. They don't like the fact that we have a good female strong lead like Melanie, and they would much rather have Tim do it than have Melanie do it. And that's not what the show is about. I mean, if they wanted that, they should have found somebody that was going to make Tim the lead and not Mel. But, not Melanie. But that's not the case. It's the other way around. It's Melanie. Companies, okay, get your head out your ass. 2, like I said, stop fucking catering to hetero land and sucking in homos to take our homo money, and then trying to snatch things, because that's how I feel. It might not be how things are, but that's how I feel this is. I think that, the big companies that are running the show, Emily's not caving to them, so they're going to get rid of our shit show because they can't get her to do what they want her to do. So they're going to say, oh, it's because of coronavirus and we can't get this and that and the other. It's because of money. No, it's not because of money, because whatever. But, like I said, that's not why I'm here. I'm here because I got into a conversation with a person online. Like I said, I don't know their pronouns. On Twitter, and the conversation was they made a statement, and I couldn't help but 2 days ago they made a statement saying, I just realized that some people here that Wynonna drinks herself to sleep every night while you giggle in Nicole's arm line, and that's what Jolene said to Waverly. Instead of thinking about it, immediately go on defense. And I didn't immediately go on defense because of what they said. And she was like, they were like, do y'all listen? I say she because their profile picture is a picture of Wynonna. And that's what I automatically say. So I'm sorry. I don't mean to misgender. And my answer to that, I'm not going to go into the whole pitter-patter back and forth of what everybody said, was just because somebody drinks themselves to sleep every night does not mean it's someone else's fault. It is nobody else's fault except for that person who drinks themselves to sleep. Um, people have issues. If you watch the show, Wynonna, this is a supernatural gunsling show, and if you watch the show, Wynonna is if you don't watch the show, Wynonna Earp is Wyatt Earp's great granddaughter. I don't know how many grades. I always get them confused. And it goes off that trope of gunslinging and whiskey drinking and guns and cowboys and Indians, but not Indians, but cowboys and this, that, and the other, and supernatural and gunfighting. And Wynonna has some demons, and her demons is she still has this thing back from when she shot her father in the first season. You see that, and that's a great big thing, and I understand that. I mean, that's something that I don't think Wynonna dealt with. And anybody who watches the show knows that she hasn't dealt with that. And this person it's kind of like it kind of aggravates me, because they're trying to make me admit that this is kind of Waverly's fault, and it's not Waverly's fault at all. And I had to tell this person, like, no. Just because Waverly decided to move on with her life, like I told this person, we're looking at, like, if this was an actual person, if these were actual people, we only see into these people's lives one day a week for an hour. We don't know what goes on for the rest of the week. We don't know how Waverly interacts with Wynonna. So we don't know if Waverly tries to approach Wynonna, and be it that Waverly is the way Waverly is, she probably does try to approach Wynonna. Waverly loves Wynonna more than anyone next to Nicole. So there's no doubt underneath the sun that Waverly has tried to approach Wynonna about what she's doing, how she's interacting with other people, what's going on in her life. Wynonna, being the way that she is, probably has not and will not take her extended hand for help. And so I told this person, you cannot speak and say something about Waverly if you don't live with a person like Wynonna. And there was a scene in last week's episode where Waverly says in the beginning, wow, I thought we had a couple of years before you go from fun drunk to mean alcoholic. Or something along those lines. I'm not quite sure, so I'm paraphrasing. And so I told this person, I live with someone like Wynonna, but he's an absolute mean, pissy fucking drunk. He is never nice when he's drunk. And what makes him like Wynonna is the fact that he doesn't accept help. No matter what it is that you do, he's not going to accept help until he wants to. And Wynonna never accepts help until the very last moment. And then it has to be a dire moment for you, or for her to accept that help. Like last week's episode, Nicole told her, this is my turn, Wynonna. I went home for 18 months and I did it alone. Wynonna was ready to fight Nicole over who was going to go into the fog and save Waverly. She had to see the absolute hurt in Nicole's eyes and in Nicole's soul and in Nicole's body language in order for her to realize that she can't do this. Is Wynonna going to change? We don't know. Why don't we know? Are we gonna find out? Isn't Wynonna gonna get help? We, because the fucking powers that be, the big fat companies, they're canceling the show. We only have 2 episodes left, so we are not gonna know if Wynonna is gonna deal with her demons and go to fucking therapy like she needs. But this person is, in my opinion, trying to say and blame Waverly as if, hey, Waverly is just brushing off how Wynonna feels about this, that, and the other. How Wynonna feels about what she does and why she does it. And no, nobody ever brushes off how people feels. But when you have someone who is a complete alcoholic because they have issues from trauma, Wynonna has trauma. When you have someone who has issues from trauma and they cover up those issues from trauma with alcohol and they will not get help, if they won't get help, they're not going to accept help from the person that they love the most. It doesn't matter. Even if they have sweet, loving, tender moments the way Wynonna and Waverly have, you cannot expect a person to be the pillar, the therapist. You can't expect a single person to be your everything. You have to be willing to go out there and to get the help that you need. That's why we have therapists. That's why you talk to people. Wynonna only ever talks to Waverly when shit gets really, really bad. And then it's just like, it's, I mean, they're saying that this isn't about alcoholism. Yes, it is. This is completely about alcoholism. Because this is how Wynonna runs. This is how she does things. And they're just like, what's the reason behind it? Well, the thing behind it is Wynonna has trauma. Her trauma is the Revenants came in and they took her father. She tried to save her father and she shot him. That's her trauma. And so her trauma led her to lashing out as a child, which caused more trauma, because we don't know what happened to her while she was lashing out. So that caused more trauma. And so she started to drink. And while she was drinking, we don't know what happened to her while she was drinking and while she ran away. We don't know all that. We don't know all of Wynonna's story. Because alcoholism leads to a lot of fucking bullshit. It leads to a lot of fucking bullshit. And hold on. And so there's like, well, do y'all need, and I'm kind of like, well, before she even, shot her father, which was trauma enough, she had trauma before. She had trauma before she shot her father. Not only did she have trauma before she shot her father, because her father wasn't, from my understanding with the backstory with him, he was an alcoholic. But not only, nobody had more trauma with her father than Waverly. Because Waverly was treated like shit from her father, while Willa and Wynonna were treated pretty much like little angels. I mean, he was an alcoholic, abusive bastard, but at least he remembered their birthdays. He remembered important things like recitals and whatnot when it came to Willa and Wynonna. But when it came to Waverly, he could fucking care less. Waverly got in trouble for every goddamn thing when it came to their father, and Waverly had a whole lot of damn trauma when it came to their father, and so she had trauma too. The only one, pretty much, that really didn't have any trauma, that was just a fucking bitch, was Willa. I mean, she got kidnapped, but Bobo took good care of her, and she came back as a fucking bitch. I did not like Willa, but we're not going there. Anyway, Waverly had trauma from her father. She had trauma before, because he treated her like hell, and we don't know what kind of trauma he gave her. I'm guessing he might have beat the crap out of her, probably, if it's going where my imagination is going. Then it comes out why she had trauma, so Wynonna is not completely innocent. But for someone to sit here and, say that because someone chooses to not fall into the trap of someone's alcoholism and just make their life completely about that person, I have to stand up for Waverly's choices, because I live with an alcoholic. He's not a fun alcoholic like Wynonna. No, he's an abusive, verbally, mentally, sometimes physically abusive alcoholic. But I am a Waverly in this situation, and I choose to move on with my damn life. I love him dearly, like Waverly loves Wynonna, and I will do anything for him like Waverly does for Wynonna. But I will not sit around and make my life and my life choices all about him. And for people to just ignore the fact that Waverly has a whole fucking fiance, a whole life, it makes me sick, because it's just like, you're making excuses for an alcoholic person who refuses to get help from anybody, from anyone. Okay, I know this is the Ghost River Triangle, but motherfucker, I'm pretty sure, I mean, there's Mercedes, there's Doc, there's Rachel, there's Nicole, there's other people, there's Nedley, there's other people that you can talk to about your issues and your problems. You don't have to lay everything down at your sister's feet. You don't have to, this is not fucking Waverly's problem. And people who make excuses for people thinking that it is all someone else's loved one's responsibility to always be there at their beck and call makes me fucking sick. It makes me sick. It makes me absolutely sick. And I had to stop talking to this person. I had to stop answering them. Because one, I was in class and I didn't want to get angry. And two, I was starting to get angry. Because I cannot stand when a person tries to make it look like my siblings' choices is all mine. It's up to me. His choices, what he does when he drinks, what my brother does when he drinks, is up to him. So if he goes out there and he gets himself a peacemaker and he goes out there and he starts shooting people because he whatever, that's not my deal. I have a fucking life. Just like Waverly. She has a life. She has a whole, like I said, a whole fucking fiance. She needs to love herself, love her fiance, love what she's doing. Wynonna does not make up her whole fucking life. My brother and his alcoholic choices does not make up my whole life. I love him. And his choices, they can include me when they are sober choices. When they are drunk choices, I don't want to have anything to do with them. If they are going to benefit me in a good way when they are not sober choices, that's great. But other than that, no. Don't come to me with some bullshit talking about you have to look at what led up to those choices. I have trauma too, just like my brother has trauma. The difference in between my brother and me is the fact that I made the right decision in going and get mental help for my trauma. He chose not to. Waverly, whatever she did, chose to go get help in some way, shape, or form for her mental health. She's dealing with it in some way, shape, or form. I'm not saying I don't drink, because I do, and she drinks because she does. You see her do it, but she's dealing with her mental health in some way, shape, or form. Wynonna has the same choice. Everyone has the same choice in dealing with their mental health. It changes when you start saying that your choices or somebody else's choices that they make when they're under the influence is someone else's responsibility or fault. And that is a very fucked up and very dumb thing to say. It doesn't matter what led up to those choices. It's a fucked up thing to say. And that's something that we need to talk about. And I'm glad we talked about it. Have a good day.